Happy New Year to my followers on my YouTube channel. We got a lot to talk about. So basically, I don't know how to put this in any other way, but as I was saying in my videos before, I was talking about the Antichrist movement and how it's moving in fast, and I was trying to make a connection to that and the company that I was employed with. And I wasn't concerned that they watch or follow my YouTube channel, because obviously they didn't know my belief system when they were telling me to convert my dance class into a dance cult workout. And I said, no, I don't want to do a cult workout. That's not my walk of life, not my walk of faith. Now, for legal purposes, I can't say anymore. Other than I was doing my boot camp class on New Year's Day. It's a day where I was off. I wasn't scheduled to work, and I was asked to do a special class. And after class, I had a text message that said, "Please come downstairs. Please come downstairs before you leave." I'm thinking I'm going to get a reward. My 10-year anniversary just came. I opened this letter, and it says, "Notice of suspension effective immediately January 1st, 2020. And I was just kind of like in a state of shock because, I was thinking all through my mind, even if you were to think the legalities of attendance, right? There wasn't anything that extreme to where I had to get penalized to that extreme. It was kind of very hurtful because it was like 10 years of my hard labor and healing people, and then I started to realize this is what they do not want. This is the Antichrist movement. They don't want Reiki healing in classes. They don't want people feeling joy from the spirit. And even though these aren't things that I was saying or preaching out loud, it was certainly resonated and felt. There was maybe hundreds of positive emails about my class on a weekly basis. So it was quite fascinating to me that an individual had told me that she was told that there was numerous amounts of negative emails regarding my professionalism, and the fact that these negative emails were a bad taste in the CEO's mouth. CEO made a direct order to rid of me. Now, what's weird is I was told it was about attendance and being punctual, just show up on time. And I asked specifically for some dates and times. Can you show me the dates where I was late? Because they say like for this corporation, the policy is 4 tardies is a termination. But I thought 4 tardies in a row was a termination, and 2 no call, no shows in a row is direct, fire. So I was looking at the dates. I saw 6/16, then I saw 11/24, 11/26. That's the week of Thanksgiving, and then December 6th. So I was thinking like June 16th to November 24th is way over 6 months. So there's a loophole somewhere. And then Thanksgiving week, that's my fault. I chose to cover shifts near LAX airport. And December 6th, I believe I was getting grievance counseling with my therapist, and consequently the traffic wasn't too well. Actually, they closed one of the roads that goes to my job too. So just to show you guys that is the example of my personal timeline and how it is telling me what's really going on a cosmic level, on what God is up to, or what the universe is up to, what the spiritual warfare is up to. So what's going on is it's called, to me, I think it's called the flip. Because when you have 2020 being a new start, and you have a new decade begin, it's all a fresh start. 2020 to me says that 2020 vision, looking forward, right? It's perfectly clear. And when you see 2020, there's no errors, there's no mistakes. It's what's being displayed is in the clearest vision. That means that you have some pure capabilities of seeing everything. And things are going to be placed in front of you intentionally on purpose so that you can, shut up or move out the way. So I'm calling this moment the flip. Because whatever was happening before in the last decade is completely being shifted into an opposition into this new decade. Someone was talking about the dialogue about the 2012 timeline. I also mentioned this before, where I said the 2012 timeline will be catching up to the 2019 timeline. I was kind of wrong. I was a little late. The 2012 timeline gateway opened on December 21st, 2019, but it didn't usher in us going back to the 2012 timeline until the 1st of January this year. So if I were to go back to 2012, I wasn't teaching dance classes at a gym. I was at a dance studio, teaching a dance studio, and I had a dance company. And lo and behold, because I had to have immediate action on, my wrongful termination, I had to act quick. And the only thing I can think of is I need to start a foundation. And this is actually, I always goof with people who say, well, God told me. Well, literally, I heard God tell me this. It said, you need to start a foundation. Everyone needs to know your walk of life. And your walk of life will unite people and fellowship with other people. Will fellowship with this walk of life. So I'm calling this Dance Alive Project. And this is the only way that we really can perspire and aspire to keep that joy in our hearts. And the only way that we can really fight is to be happy. And dance is kind of the way that we usher in, all these different high vibrations and be translucent through the dimensional shifts. We have to dance. So in the description box below, I have a GoFundMe page because it's going to be really hard for me to get my life back together in the next month. I was drop kicked and out of the blue, and so of course there's unemployment insurance and all that stuff, but that takes time. And sure enough, the 1st of January rent was due, and of course my bank account is the amount of my rent. So, but it's really, the GoFundMe is really to support this foundation where I want to go city to city, school to school, state to state, doing a presentation on raising your vibration. I want to do public speaking on bullying, how to get through bullying, understanding your environment when people are not being truthful to you, kind of like what I'm going through. How to sniff out the bad guys and the enemies, and how to forgive yourself in the process. I know for what has transpired with this current situation, I cannot forgive not one person right now in my life. I've never felt this way in my life, and I feel kind of bad that I just can't find it in my heart to forgive. It was a group of people with jurisdiction, with power, and one was my friend who was my manager, and it just kind of really broke my heart. It just put a hole in my heart that, well, I thank him because he did give me a face and an expression that made me think that something's going to happen and I'm not going to be happy about it. But it's really not about what happened to me. It's really about all the people that I've helped and all the people that were associated with my knowledge of dance, and all of the things that we did in class, and all the memories that were created. Even like the people who were like, let's say there was an 87-year-old lady. She was not supposed to be going, to a cardio class, but she did. She never sat down in her walking chair. She danced the whole time. There were people who had serious issues and divorce and a lot of different things like that. And they were able to have a healing process because they just had someone believe in them, and that somebody gave them a choreography to activate their chakras, to unblock all of their issues. So in essence, I'm just in a rut. I'm gratified that I'm free from the Saturn controlling that I had to endure. I know in astronomy that Capricorn is breaking free, breaking out of the slavery. I just didn't think that it would be like this. I didn't think it would hurt to be kicked out of the matrix the way but I realized that what all happened was I just got basically removed from the matrix. And the only way that I think people can realize that they're no longer in the matrix is because it's really confusing. Like, life is confusing. You feel like you're out and alone. You feel like you feel so worn out, like you just don't want to do anything anymore. But that's how it works. It's an opposition where being in the slave mindset and being in this catering to this stupid job I have to go to 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, blah, blah, blah. Can't pay the bills. Every bill is due. Like, being in that type of energy and frequency, the energy field, that's the matrix. So the matrix is not like a computer grid around the earth that is giving simulations and blah, blah, blah. The matrix is really it's based on how habitual our actions are in the same stories, in the same, it's the same thing all the time. We go to the same Starbucks all the time, or the same coffee every day. But I think I finally broke free. Well, kind of. Maybe I knocked on the door of getting out. But it's not comfortable at all. So we're supposed to be going through this Saturn in the constellation of Capricorn until March the 21st. So the moment Saturn entered the constellation Capricorn, that's when I had to endure some drama. So, anyways, but I'm hopeful. I have faith. Things will be fine. But I thank you guys for always being there for me. I appreciate you guys for continuing to be part of my channel, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking about all this, and what's going on in your lives, what's going on in your stories, you know. So that's all I wanted to share with everybody, is that it's going to be a tough time for me. Videos will be coming out, but they're just coming out a little slower. And I think the shadiest thing of all is I didn't properly get to grieve the passing of my brother without all these attacks that were coming from my employment. And that's what really was breaking my heart, was that no one on that side of ethical, you know, responsibility cared. It wasn't like the compassion was not even a factor. It was really like, well, you still have to do what you need to do. Wake up and go to work tomorrow. So trust and believe that I'm speaking victory over this situation, and I proclaim, yes, you guys know what I mean. I proclaim this to go to the highest level of reveal, and this is my battle against the cabal, because they initiated a war with my guides, my Heavenly Father, and my soul, and bring it on. So I'll let you guys go. I'll share a little bit more in the coming days of what I'm receiving. I haven't really been receiving much about a series of events and what's happening and whatnot. I know there's a lot going on in Australia. From what I know, people are a bit in fear, because they're like, the whole continent of Australia is on fire, and they're scared that, you know, it's all going to blow up. But this is exactly what needs to happen. It's the cold fire, hot ice, you know, era. Los Angeles is freezing every night, and every afternoon we're baking. But what's happening in Australia is there are entities working in operation underground, and we have a team of galactics that are underground blowing everything up. They're frying everything underneath so that those entities can surface, and then they'll annihilate them once they hit the surface. It's kind of weird to talk like that, but it is what it is. So from what I know is it's all happening underground. All that high pressure heat from whatever's going on underground is moving up, and all of the high pressure from the atmosphere and the energy weapons, 5G, HARP, all of that is fighting the galactics at the bottom. So it's a war of infrared, Blu-ray beams and everything. So that's what's happening in Australia, and unfortunately Mother Nature is in the middle of it, and innocent lives of people are in the middle of it. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your morning, and I'll talk to you next video. Bye.